Hey everyone, it's Christine here. Welcome to my channel and welcome to this video on 6 things to know about the full moon in Pisces. Let's dive right in. We have the full moon in Pisces occurring Saturday, September 10th at 5:59 a.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time, New York City time for reference. It's occurring at 17 degrees and 41 minutes in the water sign of Pisces, opposing the sun in Virgo. So we have two mutable signs here. Pisces in general is a very dreamy, intuitive, romantic, creative, and very spiritual sign. And this lunation will be affecting the mutable signs, as I mentioned, primarily. And these include Gemini, Virgo, Pisces, and Sagittarius at 17 degrees. So this lunation, and we'll get into it, but very briefly, it's all about releasing everything that lies beneath the waves, what's been hidden. It's about you releasing this and also others releasing things for you to know. And it's going to be quite emotional. I've actually been feeling the effects of this. I'm filming this the day before, no, 2 days, excuse me, 2 days before the full moon. And there are a lot of things coming up. It's almost like a clean out because Pisces rules the 12th house. It's the last final house before the restart of the astrological wheel. And so there's a lot of things being cleaned out, coming up for awareness, being released, and being acknowledged. So it's almost like flotsam and jetsam, almost like wood, driftwood, if you will, coming up, and things coming up from the ocean floor and coming up to your acknowledgement. For you to see, for you not just to acknowledge, but to be aware and to also make a decision. Am I going to keep dwelling or allowing myself to sit in this energy, in this situation, in this vibration, whatever it is? Or am I going to release it? And the releasing part may be scary for some because you feel those emotions and those feelings. They're very, very heightened. Some of you may be getting a lot of dreams, and I'll get to that in a sec, maybe getting a lot of dreams, intuitive messages, psychic hits, and amplification, if you will, of all of this. And just feeling some of this can be very, very uncomfortable. It can be painful. And there's a lot of simply going through it. And also, too, another aspect of this full moon is really examining what's out of balance within and without, because we have Pisces Virgo axis. They both deal with the spiritual realm and also the earthly material world, right? So there's a sense of bringing things back to home, and this is what Pisces is doing for us. It's allowing us to clear things from our emotional plane, from our spiritual plane, things that have been hidden, repressed for so long, and also truths we may not have wanted to see. So this is also bringing full closure, like I said, to something in your life, whether it's a person, place, or thing, a belief system, but something or some things. This lunation also intersects with the current Neptune retrograde, so you may just feel a heightened, almost like a hallucinogenic effect. Some of you may have been feeling a little out of sorts, a little foggy, and again, we also have Mercury retrograde in Libra happening on the 9th, the day before, so this is also affecting our communication and mental landscape. So just be aware of that. But with this lunation too, before and after, you may just be feeling, and I immediately got in my head, Salvador Dali, the surrealist artist. You may have that type of effect because surrealism and art, surrealist art, if you look at some of the paintings, especially Dali, they're very almost like they don't make sense, but they do. And I'm especially thinking of the persistence of memory, where it seems like things are melting. And so it's really, really vital at this time to ground yourself, because this is going to be a chance of renewal, and it'll impact you in that you allow whatever has to come up from the bottom of the ocean, metaphorically speaking, to be released, to be illuminated for your awareness. The moon, this full moon also forms a sextile to Uranus, which is retrograde in Taurus, an earth sign. So it'll illuminate something surprising that may pop up. And it'll have a calming effect, like a soothing effect. And so you may see changes around this, especially as it relates to value and stability. And you may regain this as well after releasing whatever it is that's coming to light. So let's dive into the 6 things to know about this full moon in Pisces. First thing I got was now or never. So there's a need right now to confront whatever has been on the bottom of the ocean floor, right? It's coming to the surface. Some of you can feel it. Some of you have been feeling it, have been feeling foggy, Neptunian influence, just out of it, feeling a little bit clouded, kind of wondering if you're seeing or thinking or resonating with reality or with something else. And I feel like a lot of you may have gotten clues in your dream state, meditative state, and also altered states of consciousness. It's because these things are creeping up. They're giving you clues through all your sensations, through all your different senses, including your sixth sense, but also your material, physical, earthly senses, because it's coming up for awareness and for release. And some may be trying to keep it down, almost like pushing things down to avoid it coming out and spilling. It's better, just like we see the waves here as they flow and go and they recede and keep coming. This is the energy to sort of embrace with the Pisces energy, because you want this to release, to get out of your emotional plane. And it may be hard as hell, but this isn't about romanticizing or dreaming, I should say. I put dreamifying this situation. It's really about getting real. That's why I got the now or never. It's coming into full truth of what it is that you may need to acknowledge that you haven't wanted to for a long time. Second thing to know about this full moon in Pisces is the throat chakra. I kept getting that. And I know we're having a lot of communication issues because of also the retrograde in Mercury that's happening the day before on the 9th of September, but I've been sensing a lot of blockages and imbalances in the throat. Nearly everyone that I have talked to has had some issues with their sinuses, with their throat, laryngitis, speaking. And it's not just due to Mercury, but their physical manifestations as well. I'm sensing too, there's a lot of grief, a lot of need to communicate and release, to get things out. And I feel like a bulge in my throat. So there's an inability to speak, to talk, to express. And so this is going to be pivotal during this time, whatever you feel, to allow it to come out, especially if it has to come out through your throat, through that energy point. So some of you may want to cry and scream, sing, shout, chant, and essentially let that energy go out in whatever way you want it to. You may need to or want to incorporate some type of breath work, something to get that energy just out, because I got almost like an underground water volcano. Oh my gosh, they have a name. It's like when when the ocean floor has like fissures of sort, and it creates this pressure, and they almost look like underground channels of stream, of pressurized stream. I don't know what they're called. I forgot the name. And so it's going to be really important to express that in some way. The third thing to know about this full moon in Pisces is balance, especially since Pisces helps balance the axis with Virgo, and this is the season that we're in right now. So we got the spiritual metaphysical sphere with Pisces, and also with Virgo we got the earthly physical material world, about being practical. So really look at where you're neglecting yourself over putting others first. That's the area, or the areas, the major themes that you need to explore at this time, because there's an imbalance happening right now. And what this lunation is really highlighting, especially when you look at where it falls in your chart, 17 degrees of Pisces, take a look at your natal chart, you'll know specifically which area, but there's a need for rebalancing here. The fourth thing to know about this lunation, I got a starting point. How do you really feel right now with your life? Because it's about getting really honest and truthful. Because in the next few months, things are just going to get, I don't want to say more difficult or use any of those terms, but they're just going to get more in movement. Things are going to proceed, keep going, life will keep going. So there's a lot coming, again, to awareness, to release, not to keep pushing it down and keep hiding it. It's almost like when you want to fit into a pair of pants or something that you love and it just won't go, and you're trying to make that zipper work, and eventually the zipper may break, or there may be a hole, or the seams break. It's similar to that energy. It's about getting real. Like, what are you trying to push down that you don't want to acknowledge, and why? Because releasing that is going to be the freedom that you are looking for. The fifth thing to know about this lunation is fluidity and boundaries. And so with Pisces, and especially if you have any placements in 12th house, but Pisces in particular, There's a lack of fluidity. Excuse me, there's a lack of boundaries. So there's a fluidity when it comes to boundaries and knowing when and where things stop, especially when it comes to certain relationships. And ironically, this intersects with the Mercury retrograde happening right now in the sign of Libra, which is a different topic that I don't want to go into at all here. But this lunation it's really bringing to light where it is that you are particularly breaking or violating your own boundaries in your life, and especially with people that you are connected to in your life, whether they're your friends, family, coworkers, other colleagues or professionals, or romantic partnerships, whatever it is, because this is part of self-care and finding that inner balance that is connected to that Pisces Virgo balance in your life. The sooner you realize that loving yourself first is not selfish, the easier it'll be to demarcate and delineate these boundaries with strength, with confidence, and also noting that when you love yourself first, you're able to love and be of service to others, because that's the Virgo aspect of wanting to take care of others and help people and be there for them. So stop losing yourself in other people's shit, in other people's drama, conflict, in their energy, in their time, in their problems, in their soul and karmic lessons. That's not yours to involve yourself to. You can lend support, but you don't have to do or constantly try to solve things. Tap into the Virgo energy to rebalance yourself, and especially these scales, and put that onto you. I kept getting to the fluidity and lack of boundaries. It's killing you. It's killing your energy and your life force, and it has a really draining effect. So some of you may just be feeling very run down right now. And again, we have a lot of other astrological influences happening right now. 6 retrogrades, Mercury in retrograde. So some of you, especially if you have these aspects in these mutable signs, but also Libra with the Mercury retrograde in Libra, you may be feeling especially more tired, run down, mentally exhausted, physically as well. So really get clear on where it is that you're giving your own boundaries away, and particularly where you're violating them, because it's easy to say yes to others and to say no to yourself. Finally, the 6th thing to know about this full moon in Pisces is, I put revealing. That's what I got, revealings. What is unknown will be revealed. It's coming to the surface. And I kept getting flotsam and jetsam, which is, the riffraff, the wood, the pieces of like shipwreck that come up. And that's also, those are the 2 eels from The Little Mermaid. Every time I say their name, I get that. But it's essentially driftwood, things that you have been allowing to kind of stay in your energetic auric field in your life, whether it's spiritual or physically, and that you haven't really made a decision about. And I feel like with this lunation, you can finally acknowledge it and accept it and make a decision, or you can pretend it doesn't exist. In other words, the message here is it's really not to revert to escapism or numbing or ignoring this situation, whether it's a person, place, thing, whatever it is. It's going to be different for everyone. It's to confront it head on, because only then you'll feel that discomfort, move through that discomfort, and then pass through to the other side. Almost like coming from the depths of the ocean through the shores to get onto those rocks. A bonus tip for this lunation: many of you may experience an increase in psychic and intuitive gifts, so be very aware. Pay attention to your dreams, your meditation practices, flow states, altered states of consciousness, because you are getting messages at this time, a lot of downloads too, and this may be coupled with heightened emotions. And I feel like you'll feel subtle shifts that you can't ignore anymore. And for some, this is going to be highlighting the need to tap, perhaps to embrace into their spiritual side 100%, and not to fear this, because sometimes the 12th house, or I should say Pisces energy, there's a lot of unknown, a lot of things that we don't fully understand, and things that may seem mysterious to us, things that may seem out of reach. But this isn't the time to tap into that fear. When we tap into inner alchemy, we choose love over fear. And so this also speaks to a trusting, a knowing that things are going to appear and unravel themselves in a way and when we need them, right? In divine timing, as is commonly said. So be aware of your psychic and intuitive gifts, of your knowings, of sensings, and I'm wishing you a beautiful lunation. Thank you all so much.